Hey guys, Analyzation Skull here again, bringing you another Destiny video. This time it's a demonstration of a run-through of Crota's End with an assembled team that I had brought together to attempt the Flawless Raider Trophy, which was the only one necessary for me to get the Platinum Trophy, the only one at a place, and a long sought-after one with many attempts with different teams and different strategies. But finally it was able to get done. This is the demonstration of it, and I was very happy about that because that was just another platinum to rack up and to gain higher gamer level or gamer score, however you refer to it, and a higher trophy percentage. Anyways, for this video, I'm going to be reading some Grimoire in honor of the Crota's End destruction and defeat. It's going to be the Grimoire card of Crota that you can unlock, I believe, for defeating him for the first time. I'm not exactly sure if that is the case, but in any case, it's the Grimoire card that is unlocked. I'm going to be reading through it, and I'm going to be talking about it, and talking about different points and aspects that can be analyzed of it. So here we go. My thoughts on recent events. He hides in the dark below, the monster of Luna, the titanic god knight who walked the Regaloth beneath a sky of green fire, and butchered the greatest army of guardians ever assembled. We abandon the moon rather than face him. Okay, so right off the bat we can tell that this card is written from the perspective of some other individual, possibly a guardian, somebody who has experienced or knows about Crota and the wrath of Crota. And basically what they're referencing is the fact that the guardians had lost the moon to the hive in the battle for it, basically as a base of operations during the battle of the darkness versus the light, or the darkness against the traveler, however you reference it, and saying that Crota is legendarily known and is a methodical person when it comes to lore of guardians and known hive entities of immense power. Whispered lore and fragmentary theories suggest that Crota represents a distinct class of hive entities not resident in our material world. My latest synthesis of the scattered esoterica suggests that Crota's home is a universe created or remade by his power and occupied by hive organisms of immense age. Any guardian formidable enough to return with information on this dark reality might help us understand the hive's goals for our own world, and more pressingly, such an expedition might provide the key to Crota's defeat. This section of the card is basically referencing the fact that Crota is the member of the elite squadron of Hive, the elite class members, the ones who are on the top, the ones who are in control of all the operations of the Hive and are pulling the strings when it comes to moves and formations of the Hive and what they're planning to attack, when they attack it, why they're doing what they do. And not only that he is an elite member of the Hive, but they also make reference to the fact that his world, or his domain, the place that he calls home, is created by him, and all elite members of the Hive create a certain world of their own, tear through space and time, a different dimension, if you will, a different plane of existence where they reside and they live, and they essentially call their living space where they relax and watch TV. It's actually very interesting because that concept is more elaborated upon in the Books of Sorrow Grimoire cards that are unlocked in the Taken King after the Crota's End, and all of Year 1 story details that have to do with Crota have already been revealed and sort of walked through. So probably another video on that sometime in the future. But basically what you can find out in these sets of Grimoire cards is that each class of Elite Hive who has communed with the darkness for long enough and has gained enough power does in fact actually create these zones that are essentially tears and holes through the space and time for them to exist in, so that if they are killed in the material world, it essentially does not count as a death for them ultimately. It is only when they're killed in their own plane of existence that they can officially be called dead and destroyed and gone from the world completely. But as long as they are connected spiritually, I suppose you could say, or energetically, with these holes in space and time, they cannot be killed unless, like the card says, a guardian is brave enough to go into this plane of existence and kill them themselves. And in this card, it's basically stating that any guardian who is brave enough to gain any sort of information on this place and bring it back would be vital to to the tower and their efforts to preserve the light and combat the darkness fully. It goes on to say, the epithet Son of Oryx is an ambiguous translation, often disputed. At this time, no direct action by hive entities of more expansive power has ever been observed. Those who trade in hive lore bicker over the exact positioning of Crota. Is his world the apex of hive power, or is it the youngest and most accessible of a string of netherworlds, each host to a more terrible hive archentity? Basically, this section of the card is a reference to the fact that Crota's power is the most powerful hive entity they've ever observed. They're unaware of Oryx at this point. This seeing as this card takes place before Oryx can be observed, before the Taken King is officially known or talked about in the Destiny universe, by your character anyway. So they're disputing over the fact, based on the lore that they know and the evidence that they've uncovered and details that they've researched about, whether or not Crota is the most powerful hive entity, and whether or not there is more like him who do host their own throne worlds, which they do, but apparently it's a subject of debate among the Guardians at this point. The card finishes up by saying, the nature and possible interrelationship of the Vex Gate system with hive netherworlds remains unexplored, and it has a final signature at the end of it saying it was written by Ikora, who is the Warlock Vanguard leader, which is basically who this card was written by and what she speculates on the hive and the nature of Crota's existence. It's unclear when it was written. All we know that it was written by her before the time of Oryx, because that would be a more powerful hive entity that was observed by the Guardians if that were the case. So, what we don't know here is the relationship between the Vex Gates and the Hive Netherworlds that she references at the very end of the card, which it is known for a fact that they do intertwine and intermingle with each other, in the way that alternate dimensions have different ports and different access points that do all access the same place. The Vex Gates all enter the same plane of existence, just as the holes and open portals to the other plane of existence of the Hive all connect and intermingle with each other. It's all access to one specific netherworld in each case. One is the plane of existence that the Hive reside in, and one is the plane of existence that the Vex reside in. They both run off of the same concept and same system. It's unclear whether or not they both are in the same plane of existence, or if one is distinct per faction, sort of thing. But we do know for a fact that each faction is capable of doing this. The only ones that aren't are the Fallen and the Cabal, but both the Vex and the Hive both have alternate planes of existence that they do reside in, and that there are tunnels and gateway systems to access them by. You can tell by the way Ikora is describing this that it's a functional system that is completely unclear to them as of right now. They don't know how that they're achieving that much power. They don't know how they can stop them from achieving that power, but these spaces that they occupy supersede time and space, which is a very astounding concept to begin with. So that is all the information in the card, and from it we can tell that the Guardians are almost completely unfamiliar with the power that the Vex and the Hive possess, the power to rip holes in dimensional spaces, to rip a hole in time and to be able to traverse yourself through it. And not only that, but to be able to control these points and fuse them with your soul, so that if you die in a physical reality, or in a physical plane of existence, you won't die completely. To be able to remove the soul, what is essentially the soul, or the energy that you possess, that is your true being, from your own body, and to be able to go on living in your own plane of existence, and to have to be hunted down in a different dimensional space to truly die, is a power that is extremely formidable, extremely threatening. It's something that you would not dare challenge, that borders on the line of godhood, something that the Guardians should in fact fear and should be prepared for if they are ever able to attempt it, which is accessed on the moon and Guardians do go after Crota, obviously, one of the elite hive, the one and only entity that they can identify singularly as the most powerful at this point in time, which is extremely insane. It's crazy to think about how Crota was the only one that they've ever observed with that much power at this point in time, and that upon discovering it, they didn't just say, we can't handle this, the Hive are able to obliterate everything that we know and love because they can tear holes in time and space. No, the Guardians prepared themselves for battle, assembled teams of 6 to go down in for the raid, to attack Crota at the heart of his plane of existence, his throne room, where he has bonded his soul, to destroy him completely. That is just, it's just an insane concept to think about. The Guardians do not fear power that is just damn well near godhood, which is amazing. And it didn't necessarily mean that he couldn't be destroyed. It just means you have to go into that plane of existence to kill him, which is exactly what they did. It's just something very crazy to think about. So, as you can see here, the strategy here for defeating Crota is myself distracting the boomers, provided with a bubble by a friend of mine to make sure that the sword bearer isn't harmed when he goes down there to get the sword. Everybody else is helping to kill the sword bearer, and then shooting Crota with rocket launchers, snipers, whatever it is that can DPS him most effectively, so that he can be destroyed at that point, so that the sword bearer has freedom to go up there, attack him with the sword, which is the only weapon that can damage him. That's the utility for his destruction, and that's how it's going to be done, and that's how we do it. 2 hits per damage cycle. Once his damage cycle is over, we run back, shoot him again, and I believe he can be damaged twice in that same cycle. We just have to make sure he is downed twice so that the sword has enough time, the sword bearer has enough time to take the sword and DPS him enough. And I believe this is the last time we have to head out there. You can see this attempt almost failed, because if a person joins your fire team while you're in the middle of doing a flawless run through and their ghost spawns in, then it counts as a death. If at any time a Guardian's ghost is displayed, it counts as a death. But we were able to remove that player from the fire team before his ghost had a chance to spawn in, thankfully. But we continue to get him down one last time for our sword bearer, who eliminates him. Finally, no deaths throughout this entire run through. It was an astounding achievement. I was extremely happy when it was completed. Something that I had been trying a while to do and just hadn't quite gotten a team together that could do it, but this was when it was accomplished, and this was when it was fully fulfilled, and the Platinum Trophy was achieved. One of the most beautiful moments in Destiny for me. I'd been striving for it ever since I had gotten it. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that display. I hope you've enjoyed my description of the acquisition of it, and the explanation on the Grimoire card, and how that was ultimately gotten. Anyways, that's the Destiny video for you all for now. More to come in the future. Thanks for watching. Analyzation Skull here. You all take it easy.